So for the people who are listening who have no clue what Mama Bear Apologetics is, will you just fill them in?
Yeah, so Mama Bear Apologetics is basically taking that mom instinct, like women can be all sweet and maternal until you start messing with their kids, and then all of a sudden you're going to see a beast rise up that you wish you could keep. You wish you could keep that genie in the bottle because it will terrify you and she will mess you up. So how do we take that instinct of protecting our kids and turn it towards something that is going to be protecting them from what is going on in culture? So Mama Bear Apologetics is just teaching them how to defend their faith and preparing them for the bad arguments and just the bad examples of Christianity that they're going to see as they're growing up.
As a parent, it can feel like we are trying to not shield our kids from things, but help them understand when we don't even understand.
Yeah.
Can you speak to that parent? Like, can you, I don't know, give them a balm here,
Yes.
you know?
So I can tell you what the feedback has been from especially the first book is that it's all these things that parents have already noticed. It's not loading them up with new information. It's giving them the words to talk about what they already see going on. And so as my husband likes to describe it, it's like a label maker for everything in culture that you say, oh, I understand that. Oh, I've seen that happening. Oh, I've seen that happening. Now I have the words to not only understand it, because I always tell parents we cannot refute that which we don't understand. Mm-hmm. And so if you look at the role of elder in Titus, where it talks about an elder, his role is to teach sound doctrine and to refute those who oppose it. A lot of times that idea of refuting the unsound doctrine just kind of gets passed over. We are the elders in our homes, and so we have the responsibility to be able to teach sound doctrine and refute those who oppose it. And we can't refute that which we don't understand. And so my goal in these books is to take these kind of real complicated topics and put them into bite-sized ways to where you can the parent themselves can understand it to the point of when they can feel empowered to now start training up their child to recognize them as well. And so I've gotten a lot of really great feedback that system is working.
Yeah, absolutely. I've read it, and it's so... It feels like I can do this.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
That's what it feels like.
That's exactly what I want it to feel like.
Well, that's great. You mission accomplished.
Hashtag nailed
and
it.
I have, yes, and I have passed it along to friends and will continue to. My husband and I work together as a team.
Yes.
And one of the things I adore about him is that as we are, as a family, consuming media of any kind. It might be a song we just heard, it might be a movie we just watched, or a show, or a book that we're reading together, something like that. He is amazing at asking the questions to our boys. All right, what worldview do you think the author has here? What are some of the themes that we see? What do you think the characters believe about God? Just in processing that media.
That's so good.
Tell me, I think I know the answer to this, but what's the benefit of that?
Yes.
What if we don't do that? Is there a danger if we don't?
Yes, there absolutely is a danger. So I like to compare these ideologies to viruses in the sense that a virus can't replicate on its own. What it does is it has its own DNA that it then puts inside another cell, and that other cell begins replicating it. So sometimes it's not the worldviews that are obviously bad that we need to watch out for. It's the ones that are uncritically absorbed by our kids that we need to prepare them for. And so what the immune system is supposed to do, and especially with vaccines, is when it encounters this virus, it learns how to recognize it. So that way, if it ever gets an onslaught of even more of these little virus particles, the body is already prepared to say, you are not part of our body, you are not taking over our cells, and we're going to take you down to Chinatown, take care of business. And so that is kind of what we're doing with our kids, that we need to be going through all these different worldviews as they're encountering it, because if we don't, the world is discipling our children into their worldview. Our kids need to have that spiritual immune system so that they can recognize this is not part of my biblical worldview. In fact, I remember my mom and my dad talking about this. Here are the reasons why this is false, and I can reject that. And they can start, the older they get, the more you practice doing this, of recognizing these worldviews, the more they're going to be able to kind of take what is good, because it's like we're never going to find a movie or music, that's 100% everything that we agree with.
Right.
It's like even the Bible can be misused. If the Bible can be misused, basically anything can be misused. But they'll be able to sift through it and say, this is the good, this is the bad. I'm going to accept the good, reject the bad.